This is my Wonder Woman ring.
Wonder Woman? Oh, that's powerful for you right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You resonate with Wonder Woman?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So one of the podcasts I did up in the trees, actually, the Trees to Trees, we filmed us going through it. It's really cool. And we were talking about how spirit animal is kind of taboo to say because you're kind of taking away from the profound ceremony and, I mean, the tradition and all the things you don't really know about that the indigenous people were into.
Yeah.
And we just kind of use it as a fun gimmick. So we were like, because both of us work with youth in the outdoors, and that's kind of one of the questions, like, what's your spirit animal, you know, like, so we're changing it to, what's your animal self?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, mine's the raccoon.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard the Ricky Raccoon song?
Yeah, Rocky, isn't it Rocky Raccoon?
Oh, it's Rocky Raccoon.
Yeah. Rocky Raccoon stepped into a room. It's funny, last time we were here, we were singing a song. This is the song section of the... This brings out our musical side. That's funny. Yeah, so it's like the animals that show up in my life, or the animals that you resonate with consistently, I think.
The raccoons show up in your life.
Oh yeah, all the time. They remind me that I'm smart, playful, and powerful. Yeah, so when I'm usually in the trees doing a kind of precarious thing, I embody my raccoon self, and it gives me confidence to carry out whatever thing I need to do. A repair or a build or a rescue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it gives me, the animals are helping me that way. Do you have an animal self?
You know what? I never thought, I mean, I love certain animals, but recently I think it's a bird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I never really thought about until, like, recently I feel like birds have really come into my life.
Okay.
And especially that bird the other day that I told you about.
The turkey vulture, yeah.
And I have a thing for feathers.
Mm.
Yeah, that would definitely. And I have a bird nose.
Okay.
So I really feel like I'm
That's awesome. What do you think the message is, or the?
I think that I think it's about your being my highest self. Birds soar.
Yeah.
Fly, and they see things from above.
Yeah, they have perspective.
And yeah, so it's about because it's sort of the journey I'm on right now.
That is very true.
So.
That is true, and seeing things from above. Hello.
I've kind of been my lowest self.
Yeah. What do we want to do here? Are we turning around, or?
It's up to you. So I'll tell you what's going on. So if we cross the road right over there, there's a trail that goes kind of through there, and we could take it as long as we want, or we could turn around. It's up to you.
It'd be cool to kind of go a little ways,
check it out?
just to like a new adventure. Into the forest we go. This way?
Yeah.
Awesome. Trailhead.
Okay, so tell me about you were talking about and I was saying it wrong. Enneagram?
Yeah, Enya. So Enya.
Oh, like the singer.
Yeah, Enya is 9.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And gram is diagram, so it's a diagram of 9.
Right.
So that's why it's called the Enneagram. And yeah, so it's really about showing you what avatar you chose based on your nurture and nature at a young age.
Oh, that shows you?
Well, I think you're kind of born in the center.
Yeah, okay.
And then you gravitate towards one that's easiest to put on based on your nature and nurture.
Okay.
That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
And it helps you survive in this crazy world, which is a good thing, right?
Absolutely.
But at some point, it's time to shed that avatar, I call it.
Yeah.
And transform into something above the Enneagram. And basically it's a roadmap to help you do that. And so you were asking, are there certain numbers that we're supposed to be more like, or
that we transform from to?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm a 9.
Yeah.
According to
Yeah. So.
And I feel like I'm shedding some skin.
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting about it is if you wear the 9, that's your most comfortable outfit. Then when you're the healthiest, you exude the most healthy values and skills of a 3. And when you're super unhealthy, you exude the vices of the 6, which is high anxiety.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a red flag. So I know.
It's an anxious little squirrel.
Yeah.
Not
So
much anymore.
yeah, and so that's the thing is, if you're feeling a lot of anxiety in your life, that's a red flag to tell you you're not healthy. You need to change some things.
Yeah.
So it's to help you, and then you can get back towards your 9, and then from there you can hopefully get back to the 3. So Richard Rohr talks about how, so if you wear the 9, then the 3 is more accurate to your true self.
Okay.
So the values and skills of the 3 are high ambition, efficient, super industrious, high performing, can do a lot of different things really well. And I noticed that.
Totally you.
Yeah. When I'm healthy, I just do a lot of things. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And I've had 2 anxiety attacks in my life. I was like, that was a really unhealthy time in my life. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense for the unhealthy 6.
Absolutely.
But again, there's numbers that are easier for us to access. So your 8 and your 1 are your wings on either side.
Oh, for a 9? For
a 9.
Okay.
And so if you can, like if you're kayaking, well, we'll use the bird analogy because you like birds. Here we'll navigate.
Smell the daisies.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
So, where was I?
The wings.
Oh, the wings. Yeah. So, I wear the 9, and it's easy for me to use my 1 wing. But if I'm only using my 1 wing, I'm going to fly in circles. Okay. So if I can also use my 8 wing, then I can fly higher. So it's kind of trying to equalize my 1 and 8 strengths, because it's easy for me to access that since I'm a 9. My 1 and my 8 are right next to me.
So what are the strengths of the 1 and the 8?
The 1 is into reform, like making things good.
Okay.
Making things right.
Yeah.
And then the 8 is super powerful.
So 1 reform, like solution-oriented, like finding solutions?
Finding solutions and just making things better.
Better.
Yeah, so if something's not perfect in our perception, we'll be really good at reforming it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like for me, like it's really easy for me to see a way a company's doing something, or a design of something, or a system of like an expedition, and really think through it and make it the best it can be in my mind.
Yeah.
Like getting really into the details.
Yeah.
Even though people don't know that about me, it's kind of a secret. Because I don't exude that, but in my mind, I'm constantly thinking about every little detail.
Yeah.
Sometimes to a fault.
I do that too with teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my students, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I see where you need to go, and
Yeah.
holding you back.
And those that wear the 9 are really good with teaching, because it's really easy for us to put ourselves in other people's shoes. And that's the one thing, is usually the 9 doesn't know what number they are because they relate to all of them. And that's a skill that we've developed to avoid conflict.
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, how can I ease the tension here? Okay, I'm gonna see it from their side, which isn't necessarily a good thing. We have to learn to embrace conflict.
The conflict I'm learning is a good thing. I've always tried to
Exactly.
avoid it forever.
Yeah, that's what we do as 9s.
Yeah, but conflict is what helps you grow.
It's their survival mechanism. And that's when I learned I was a 9. I'm like, oh, I thought avoiding conflict was a good thing. And it taught me, like, no, you need to embrace your 8. 8s are really good with conflict. Actually too much. Like, they'll cause conflict when it doesn't need to be any, because they lust for intensity. So if you can dip into your Wonder Woman 8 self, that's why the animal, every number has an animal associated with it.
Yeah.
So the 9s are elephants. So we'll sit and just kind of you can't move us. Like, I don't want to move right now. Kind of like when you did that snowshoe trip, like, nope. But once we get going, you can't stop us. Like, we are really powerful once we're in movement, because that means we're embracing our 8 power and our 1 details mind, and then our 9 considering all variables. So when it's right for us to move, we will move and make sure that all parties benefit when we do move. So 9s are really powerful in that way.
That really makes sense because I've been trying to take risks, and my risks is my 8, which is when I take risks, what I'm really doing is I'm being confrontational, or not confrontational, but open to conflict.
Yeah, 8s are really good at that. And they're also really good protectors. So they'll usually be a CEO or a leader in whatever kind of thing, and they're really into making sure that everyone is taken care of. And if someone in their group is feeling threatened, they'll, nope, not in their watch. Like, their animal's the lion, right? So the 8 is something I need to learn how to embrace. The 9 is tricky in that our 8 wing, is in direct contrast from our vice. All the other numbers, I think it's a little easier for them to get into their wings. But it's
What's the
it's
vice of the 9?
sloth.
Sloth, that's right.
And it's not laziness with work necessarily.
But just not getting started.
Well,
right?
showing up to our authentic self and expressing our authentic self, expressing our needs and wants. Like, we'll fall asleep to our own life, like, oh, that's what you want to do. That's cool. No, you can touch it. It's fine. That we merge really well to avoid conflict, but we lose ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're lazy to showing up in our own lives.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
Kind of right.
Yeah.
Spot on.
So the Enneagram isn't a fun thing to learn. That's the other reason I like it. It's work. It's a journey. And
work is good.
work is good. But there's a lot of personality tests that make you feel good inside.
Yeah.
This one wakes you up, like, okay, this is some skills and values I have, but also I got some issues.
Yeah.
And nobody's issues are the same, because the other numbers struggle with their thing, right?
Yeah.
Each one has a vice and each one has a virtue out.
What about 1? What's the vice of 1?
They're very hard on themselves. If it's not perfect, perfectionism, and they'll beat themselves up. They're very hard on themselves, and resentment is a big vice for the 1. And their virtue out is serenity. So it's very important for somebody who wears the 1 to have a sacred place where they can find serenity and be cool with themselves and know their worth is more than making things right.
Right. Oh, wow, that's so true. I used to be such a perfectionist
Yeah.
person. Perfectionist.
Yeah.
I started teaching growth mindset, which I talked about last
Yeah.
time.
No, that's a freedom.
I'm gonna make a mistake. It's good.
Yeah. Yes. That's why with this podcast, I gave myself permission to fail. Like I said, like, let's just fail, be messy, and just go for it.
Yeah.
But 9s we're very withdrawn. What's interesting there's a triad too. So 8, 9s, and 1s. We're in the gut triad. So we take in information through our gut first.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so we have gut intelligence.
Gut issues.
And gut issues. Yeah. We feel sick and we don't know why. Or we don't know why things aren't okay, because the gut takes in things 100 times faster than the heart, and the heart takes in 10 times faster than the brain. So our heart and our brain have to catch up to our off feeling. So a lot of times when people ask us, are you okay? We're like, I don't know right now.
Yeah.
So one thing we need to learn how to say is like, I don't know, I'll get back to you. Like, and just let it go. Let's circle back to it later when my heart and my head catch up here. And so and also anger is our issue, which is very interesting for a 9, because I didn't consider myself an angry person. But we bury it down. We bury it down so deep, and then when we pop, it's an angry elephant. You do not want to be around us when the anger is. It's a volcano, yeah. And again, it's not healthy, right? So the other numbers can teach us how to. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff. And if you're a 9, if your number's in the middle of the triad, it's doubled. So that's why
what do you mean if it's in the middle of the triad?
So 9, so it's 8, 9, 1. So 9 is in the middle of the triad.
Yeah.
So it's doubled for us. So we take in things 200 times faster. So every 7 minutes we get a wave of, what is this? And that's why we withdraw a lot, because the world is very overwhelming for 9s.
Yeah, I'm such an introvert.
Yeah, I'm a closet introvert for sure.
Yeah.
And so it takes us a lot to people, and it takes us a lot when we feel tension. Like I'll feel tension before I enter a room, and I'm like, okay, I gotta navigate this.
Gotta breathe.
Gotta breathe, gotta get into my self-validation. Like, I have place and purpose here, you know, like, don't merge with others, let them do their journey. You don't have to, you don't have to feel their feels. I mean, we can, but we don't have to let it like affect us, right?
Right, like boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries, big time.
Yeah.
And then the 2, 3, and 4 are in the heart triad.
Okay.
And their issue is shame. So they're trying to use all their skills and values to navigate their shame and ultimately their self-worth. So that's why the 3, it's doubled, right? Because
So wait, hold on. So but if you were saying earlier the 9, it moves to a 3, right? That's
yeah, the healthy 3.
A healthy 3?
Yep.
Does that mean it gets to bypass the shame part?
Yep, exactly. Yes, correct.
Okay.
But if we go to an unhealthy 6, then that's magnified.
Okay.
The vice of the 6, which is anxiety.
Oh, right.
Fear, anxiety, yeah.
Yeah.
So the vice of the 3 is a deceit. So much so that they'll deceive themselves. They'll lose themselves in being everybody's poster child. Because they're really good on putting on a mask. Because they're trying to cover up their shame. They're not accepting their shame, or that's a thing that, you know, it's okay to deal with that. You don't have to let it define you. And so, and they feel, right? Deep feelers in their heart, a lot of emotion. But it's so much emotion for the 3 that it's like, okay, I got to put on a mask. Like, so much, yeah. So they've learned that skill to navigate that. And then the 4, 5, and 6, they're the head, the IQ, head intelligence. That's why the 5 is really into knowledge. They're the people that know all the trivia questions and Jeopardy questions and constantly.
That was my second highest number, was a 5.
Yeah, reading books all the time.
Oh, yeah.
NPR is always on. You know, they're just downloading information because that's their power. That's how they navigate. So theirs is, oh no, I'm gonna forget. So it's anger, shame, and oh no, what is?
5?
Well, the triads. Each triad has an anger, shame.
So 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I think it's. What is it? Is it fear? I think it's fear.
Yeah, you said fear.
Yeah, because the 6, it's doubled. I hope that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, the 5s navigate their fear by the more they know, then the less fear they'll have, and the 6s navigate it by being loyal. So, oh, who's gonna keep me safe? What's gonna keep me safe? This person, this leader. Okay, you got my vote. And majority of the population are 6s.
That's what I heard.
Which is interesting, right? That's why you have a lot of people that really pick a leader and stick with them because they feel protected. It mitigates their anxiety.
Their political system right now.
Sure, or any kind of system anywhere with anything, any country, whatever system is there in their perception that's going to keep them safe.
So I do want to pause for a second. Do you notice this trail is a little different than the previous trail?
Yeah, it's got nettles, a lot of nettles, very lush and thick.
Yeah.
Different, yeah. It's just I feel like the trees are farther apart.
Bigger too, huh?
Yeah, it's more of a forest.
Yeah.
So
nice to have this in my backyard.
Yeah, what a blessing. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. What else is there?
Wow.
There's the subtypes.
Okay.
So there's actually 27 different kind of numbers.
Okay.
Because there's 3 subtypes.
Okay, right.
And then 3 times 9 is 27.
Yeah.
So this is kind of your instinct. So if you think of a bird, like a peacock, there's 3 ways peacocks survive. We'll just use the peacock because that's the example they use all the time in the Enneagram.
Okay.
One is they create a nest, the home. So some of us, that's our first instinct. The home's got to be safe. I got to have savings, health insurance, like self-preservation.
Okay.
And then the second one, peacocks survive by having a mate and keeping their species going. So that would be very intimate connection with others. So if that's so I'm a 9 with, they call it, I think it's transmitting instinct. So I'm very intimate with my relationships. I'm not really concerned about my home and all that.
Are you sure you're not some 5 in there? Because 5's kind of like modest, like, what was I learning about 5s? They're not materialistic. And
yeah, they're simple.
Yeah.
Very simple, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like a 5, like, you go to 5's house and you're going to see furniture. Like, I don't really need furniture.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, there's caveats to all of this, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe sometimes you wear the 5, maybe it fits you pretty good, but there's usually one number that you wear the most, and it's usually the number you put on right away when you're unhealthy or you feel threatened or you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode.
So I guess knowing this, okay.
Wait, before we give it, the last one is the pecking order. So sometimes it's really important for people to know, okay, they don't care who the leader is, but they need to know who the leader is. And like classroom, where's everybody's desk? Where do I sit? Like that's important for them. So it's important to realize like this is how other people perceive the world. And so if I'm leading a group,
and that's a 6, right? You're saying these are the
this is the 3 subtypes.
Oh, 3. Okay.
That any number.
Oh, any number has these 3.
Yeah, but usually have a dominant one. So I'm a 9 with transmitting. So I'm really into intimacy and connection with people. And if I don't have that, then I feel kind of lost. So if I'm entering classroom, it's really important for me to connect with somebody right away. I don't really care who's the teacher and where I sit.
Right.
And I'm not really concerned like what's in my backpack and what's for lunch and like the self-preservation stuff, right? But realizing that as a park manager at Tree to Tree, I have to show everyone like the flow chart because some people need to know where am I in this.
Yeah.
For me, I don't really think about that, but learning this is like, oh, okay, I need to
be able to make other people comfortable who have that need.
Yes.
So what was your subtype again?
Transmitting. So intimacy.
How do you know that?
Just by learning the 3 different ones, just the one that resonates with me the most. Like I just know I'm not really concerned about self-pres.
It has nothing to do with the number though.
No, not necessarily. So you have your number and then you have a subnumber that correlates.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the next tier of understanding the Enneagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I did the test, I was a 9, and then I had the 3 other numbers. Those aren't subtypes? No. Okay.
No. Yeah. Those are maybe just numbers that you more easily can put on based on your how you're raised and your genetics and all that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But again, this isn't who you are. It's just
just a number.
Constructed thing that we
create to help us understand ourselves.
Yeah, and well, just to survive. Yeah. It's all about survival. Because it's a hard world. So these are the things we learn to deal. Yeah.
Yeah, coping skills.
Coping skills. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we can be aware of them. We don't have to be a victim of them. So that's the thing, you learn how to respond responsibly instead of being reactive, right? Instead of just like being a reactive, like, I'm going to withdraw. I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to express my needs and wants.
That's when you need to bring out those superpowers.
Yeah.
And so you can navigate things
in
a way that keeps you calm.
Yeah.
Right? Or keeps us, humans, calm.
Yeah. Balance and all that good stuff. Harmony.
Our meat suit.
With our meat spaceship, yeah.
Our meat spaceship.
Yeah, totally. All right, so what are we feeling?
Okay, it's up to you. So this we can't go because they're trying to preserve this trail here. So
okay.
It's not. This can keep going, or we can cruise back.
I'm feeling cruisy backy.
Okay, let's cruise back. You go
okay.
first.
Okay. Oh yeah, with the audio. Turn around. Nice. That's great.
Well, I think I think that human nature, we want it. Not everybody does. Not everybody wants to know. Some people more, depending, I guess, their number, are more interested in, other things. But I think with the Enneagram, like things like that, or things, some people might seek out like astrology, or there are other, I guess what I'm saying. There are avenues in our life that kind of help us navigate
We have helps, yeah.
our place on our experience, our journey.
Yeah. And this is kind of my thing, my jam is with all that is our best guide is that divine spark that lives within. And so there's all this stuff out here, but I still think the most reliable and consistent is having that morning practice where you commune with the divine spark within and let that guide you.
What is your morning practice?
Nature, like I gotta be in nature, and it's usually a run, like at least a mile, and I take a pocket journal. And when I get to that, halfway point, I sit somewhere and I just invite the divine spark to kind of be heard and be a part of my life, my day. And usually 3 things will come to mind and I'll write them down. And then for the rest of the day, I know these 3 things are kind of my compass to redirect throughout the day. Because, a day gets filled with a lot of unexpected things. But usually there's 3 things. It's like, okay, these are the...
For grounding.
For grounding. And maybe it's to call my mom. Maybe it's to text her. Or maybe it's like, I got to pay a bill. Or maybe it's, it could be anything.
Right.
I don't put any condition on it. I just stay whatever pops up, and you feel it. And I ask it in the name of love. We talked about that universal law of everything is love.
Yeah,
so if it's not coming from a place of love, it's like, no, that's not the right message. It's probably ego, fear, or I think I need to do that because pressure from somebody else, but it's not in that deep place that from that divine spark. So, and I would argue that divine spark is a partner with us.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I totally agree. Like I connect with that too.
Yeah.
That's you. I just like when I saw you last week, talk about that hand, like putting your hand on your chakras. That's kind of how I connect with that divine spark. Kind of like, I feel like it's like inside my body.
Yeah, I think it never leaves us.
Yeah.
But we have the choice to commune with it or not, and I think the idea is to have a daily practice to tap into it.
Yeah.
And then it just gets easier and easier as we grow and learn. And I think it stays with us in our eternal journey. Yeah, it's like a co-pilot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Constantly nudging us and guiding us in the right direction. Hello.
Hi.
Which is really nice to discover in this world where you have so much different information of...
Well, yeah, it seems like for me, I think with my discovery, it's my relationship with myself. Because it's something that I'm growing. Is my relationship with myself and knowing what it is that I want to do in my life and what are my likes and dislikes and, having, when you have options to be able to sit with those and kind of sift through life with yourself. Some people call it religion, whatever. I'm not religious, but it's hard to explain.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. It's, again, there's all these different religions. There's all these different traditions. How do you know, like, what the right path is with all that? It can be tricky. I think we talked about this last time, but M. Scott Peck saying the path to holiness is through questioning everything. In a curious way, not in like a rebellious way, but in like, well, I'm going to consider that. I'm also going to consider this. And I think through that, you find truth.
Yeah, you sift through it.
Yeah.
So I have I grew up in Hawaii, and with really good friends, like Kindy and Sherry, and I call her my island mom. And Kindy was a native Hawaiian, and he's since passed. And he would always say, sift everything through your heart. Sift it through your heart, and then you'll know.
Like a filter.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like the sand sifters with the gold, or finding whatever as you go. Hello.
Hi.
She was forest bathing. Just swimming through the forest.
Swimming.
That was cool. I wonder what bad habits I've learned. that I need to transcend. Sometimes you don't know if you're in them. Like, again, that's why community is important. People are like, hey, that's not cool. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a bad habit. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Unless you get
I
into.
think when we're living our highest self, we can kind of weed through our habits.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because you don't want to get into like groupthink either. Like if the whole group is in a bad habit,
Yeah.
you can get taken over by it. I think that's why it's important to be around different people too, because then you can see things.
Oh, yeah, different perspectives.
Different perspectives,
nice.
yeah.
Absolutely.
More stuff to sift through the heart.
Yeah.
Heart sifter.
The heart sifter. I like it. Yeah. People are interesting little creatures.
Yeah, we're scared most of the time. Scared, angry, or afraid. But also, we have superpower, right? Like you were saying, like.
Yeah, I haven't felt scared, angry, or afraid in a long time.
That's awesome. It means you're in a good space.
I am in such a good space. I'm not saying that I'm, if I do have that experience, if I'm starting to feel a little something, I just go back to that. Really the thought that I have when things get wonky is that this existence on this planet is a blink of an eye. For us.
Yeah, a little
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
blink in eternity.
It's just,
A wisp.
yeah, and so like, oh wow, look at that ponderosa.
It's a big one.
Holy cow. Wow. Love it. It looks like
Ponderosa. Is it a pine?
it's a ponderosa.
Ponderosa pine.
It's so amazing. It's like huge scales.
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess I just start to think like, oh, well, no, okay, this might be a tangent.
It's fine.
But I think of my self-worth. Like I think, I don't know why people have, I'm not sure what causes fear. What were those emotions again? You said
Fear,
fear.
scared, or angry?
Yeah, fear, scared, or angry.
Oh, well, I guess scared and fear are the same thing.
Yeah, I think maybe because people feel like they're going to lose something maybe, or something. Or
Yeah, we want to survive. Like,
right.
it's our natural biological instinct. Yeah. And the idea is to transcend it.
Yeah. So with my experience lately, I won't get into the details, but when I was feeling that way, I would stop and be like, you're worth so much, so it doesn't matter. Like my worthiness is grown so much, so I don't fear losing things because I guess I have faith that if I live my highest self, I'm bringing into my circle all that's good. And so those fears that we're having, we're losing things, but the things that I was losing weren't part of my highest good or my highest self. So I was learning to let go of those things because my self-worth is more than that. That I'm worth more than whatever thing that I was holding on to that was causing my fear or my pain or whatever you call it.
Yeah, that's good. Seems to be the pattern. Worth.
Yeah, our self-worth,
Yeah.
It's amazing because I don't know, I never really contemplated that before, and then when I started contemplating, I'm like, oh man, it just like opened up a way of looking at life that created so much love for myself.
Yeah, that feels like a sense of being taken care of, I guess. Does that resonate? Or is there something different than that?
No.
Not by like a said person, but like...
I guess so, yeah. A sense of taking care of, but also just a sense of power and control in a way. Or no need of, or lack of need for control. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Like if you're in that in your highest self, you would say that you wouldn't need to control anything.
Exactly.
There's no...
Because I'm in that spot where goodness just resonates around me, and I just felt like it's just so much good. It just comes to me, and I also share good with others, and so it's like this reciprocal cycle of just love and goodness. And I think when we're in those spaces of fear, it stops us from loving, and it stops that cycle.
Oh, okay.
So fear can stop your love, and
The
love
love-
can...
The love flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of being able to tap into it at any point. I think we talked about that last time. Process reality.
Yeah.
The best choices given to us at any point. Like we can, it's right there in front of us every 12th of a second. Yeah, right? Okay. Now I learned this cool thing. It's go, I am worthy. You do this motion towards yourself. And you go pick a person, you go, you are worthy. And then you say, we are all worthy.
Aww.
And it's kind of a nice, it makes you feel centered.
Good.
Yeah, and I try to keep that in mind any point during the day where I'm like losing sight of that. Just do that motion, I am worthy, you are worthy, we are all worthy. And it's like, oh.
Soul food.
Yeah. I think that's an indigenous tradition. I learned it from somebody who teaches at an indigenous school.
Oh, really?
But I don't know the details of where it actually came from. So I just have learned it. So I don't want to...
Right. You don't want to put your patent on it and say...
No, it's not my thing. I learned it from somebody else, but I'm not sure where they learned it exactly. So, but I like it. And in Enneagram and Brene Brown's work and all this different stuff, that seems to be the common denominator is we do all these unnecessary things because we lack that feeling of worthiness. Yeah.
Yeah, we're living out of our ego.
Yeah, ego or, yeah. Whatever, yeah. You're worthy, Lisa. Thank you.
We are worthy.
We are worthy. Yeah, the value, I think, is a big one. Like, we have value.
Yeah.
And so does everybody else. I think that's important to remember, too. Like,
I read what was something my parents taught me. Although they did teach me some good things, even though they're kind of crazy. We're no better or worse than the next person. You know? So don't ever think that you're any better or any worse than the next person you see out there, you know? Don't compare yourself, I guess, is part of it, you know?
Yeah, that seems to be another trap of a cycle. That's part of my neuroses for sure. I can get into that. Especially at work, you know? It's like, because work's kind of designed that way in our culture of you got to be better than said person or other company or instead of working with, you know, it's a very against kind of, I mean, my work's unique in that it is about building a team, but you'll still find it within that, you know, you compare yourself to other facilitators or life coaches or whatever. It's just this thing we do, you know, it's like, okay, don't need to do that, buddy. Yeah.